Welcome everyone again to this other episode of UTPOD. In this UTPOD, we're gonna talk about film culture and sports. For about last 2 weeks, we have been talking about sports, World T20. But on this episode, since Oscar is on Sunday, we're gonna talk about movie. And as always, we gonna have a conversation about these movies. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good, pretty excited for the Oscars.
You are. I mean, I don't know. I kind of already gave up on Oscar a long time ago. I'm not a huge
Mm.
fan of it. But again, it's interesting to talk about the celebrations of movies. So, what are we going to talk about today?
So, primarily, we're going to talk about Sinners and One Battle After Another, right? I think Sinners have this record of 17 nomination, which is 16 or 17. I'm not quite sure, but that's pretty cool, right? That's a lot of nomination for one movie.
Yeah, and I think it's also the movie that has been nominated most after like Titanic and other movies too. So it's like
Mm.
the highest nominated movie by
Yeah.
itself. So,
Mm.
so we're gonna talk about these two movies. Before we talk about it, I like to let everybody know that there are gonna be a lot of spoilers. We're gonna talk about this movie on every plot, everything. We weren't gonna hold back. So if you guys have not watched the movie, I highly recommend you guys to watch the movie and come back over here and listen to our conversation because there are gonna be a lot of spoiler that you may not want it. So let's get started with the Sinners. What did you think about it?
That was really cool experience. Once the movie started, right? The beginning shot of it, the guy driving in the car and opening that door. From that scene, it was like, okay, now what's gonna happen, right? For more context, I didn't watch a lot of content before watching the movie itself, so I did not exactly know what I was going there for, right? Like I didn't know the genre of it, and the moment he opened the door and you're not sure what's going on, right? So that captivated me right away, and yeah, the entire movie was really good experience.
Yeah, I also have this tendency. I've developed this tendency that I don't watch anything. I don't watch trailer. I don't watch any interviews. Nothing, and I just like to jump onto the movie because for some reason I like that surprise factor. And as you said, I had no idea what the movie was. So for me to start watching the movie and realizing that it can be this thing, it can be that thing. I think that itself was a journey for me. And there are a lot of things inside of it that that needs to be talked about. I think it's one of the movie that has different element attached to it, and it gets very interesting. It's almost like peeling up the layer of onion, right? Like you're peeling
Uh,
up little bit, you're understanding a little bit more and understanding, and you get to the main core of it, and it's like, oh, okay, movie's about this. uh so w- do you want to start from the do you want to talk about it from the start, or how do you want to talk about it?
yeah, we can talk about from the start as well, right? So one thing I really liked about Sinners is the characters, right? Like character had backstory and they spent ample time exploring those backstories, right? Like when the character was feeling something, you were also somewhat feeling that emotion, that pain, right? So yeah, that was really cool that they explored so much deep into that without making it feel like the movie has been going on forever, right? Like normally when you explore the backstory and explain those things, then it feels like the movie story is getting too long, right? So that was well done.
Yeah, the thing about this movie is it's based on 1932. Again, if you guys have not watched it, spoiler, go and watch it. But if you have, it's a vampire movie. I'm not a big fan of vampire. I don't like horror movies. I think horror movies are not well done, except movies like this. Because one thing about movies that is that is uh, one thing about good movies are like there is one story and there is different story underneath of it. So it's like हात्तीको जस्तो. It's almost like elephant, right? देखाउने दाँत र खैके दाँत different हुन्छ. Like there's some kind of saying like that, right? So
Uh-huh.
it's almost like that when it comes to movies like this. It's like there's such a deep underlying meaning behind everything, but also there is stuff that on surface is interesting as a movie. So when movie starts and you get this two twin character going through, they're coming back to this Mississippi Delta, and they're like talking with everyone. We see their back little bit. They don't show us their backstory, right? But you know what their backstory is with all their interaction with each and every characters, right? You see all this cotton picking plantation, and man, the visual of this plantation, right? Like you can see it all the way to the end on the lens, but there's like two three character in front of it, but it takes you right into that journey, and it's like you are in that world and you understand what these two character went out of and what they are coming back into. And you can also see the status of theirs versus status of people they might have left behind. And there's so much depth into it.
Yeah, and also there is like the cultural angle too, right? Like one of the twin brother is more about preserving the old culture, old tradition, whereas the other twin brother is more about adopting new culture, and that's well explored as well. Like that's a difference. One of the way to distinguish between those twins was the way they react to a situation, right? And talking about the cinematography too, I don't know what's up with the Ryan Coogler thing, but his movies usually end with either sunrise or sunset. In Black Panther, it ended up with cousins or brothers in arm, right? Like the Michael B. Jordan was in the arm of Chadwick Boseman, and for this one, it was like a kind of same thing, cousins in arm as well, right towards the end, and it was uh, sunrise, right? So it's it's pretty interesting to see how there are like patterns of certain directors what they like to shoot, right? So yeah, that was also pretty interesting.
He uses lot of what's that word? There's a word that's called there's a word that says that something is coming after it. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of that element of it. For an
Yeah.
example, movie starts with the same car,
Hmm.
same characters.
Yeah.
Movie ends with the same kind of shot, with
Hmm.
the same, not with different characters,
uh,
right? Like there is something about that, like, and he does that throughout the movies. There is so much of like uh thing is, for an example, there is a scene when the preacher boy when is it salt or is it smoke? I always get confused. Smoke, when
Smoke.
Smoke speaks up, yeah, when Smokes has preacher boy and they are going to the grocery store to get all the sign from the Chinese family and stuff
Uh-huh.
like that. uh he talks about, I like, so he's the one who gave guitar to this preacher boy, and the
Uh-huh.
preacher boy and he says, can I write it? And he was like, maybe when we come back.
Uh-huh.
And the crazy thing is, when the movie ends, again, we're going to talk about it, but when the movie ends, he's all by himself on the same car coming behind, back,
Uh-huh.
right? So there's so much of that thing throughout the movie that it makes it, honestly, it's a it's a good first watch, but it's an amazing second watch. So if you have not watched it second time, it's like definitely a second watch. I think it's on Prime right now. So it's amazing second watch because you're gonna start seeing things that you missed out on first one. Uh, but do you know the origin of this movie? So this is the first original screenplay by Ryan Coogler's, because the movie that he has done before, like Black Panther, was based on something, and Creed was like kind of based on um
Rocky.
was it Rambo, right?
Rocky.
Was it Rocky? Sorry, was based on Rocky. So there's like some stories that he was deriving from, but this is his original story. Do you know the origin of the story?
Not exactly. I think uh, it has origin with like multiple stories, right? Like, one is the Irish origin, and one is their own origin.
So the thing, the origin, the this I was listening to his interview, and he talks about he used to go and visit his uncle who was very old, and he had
Uh,
this lot of blues recordings, like blues
uh,
records, and he was never fan of blues music. He was never fan of music, and once his uncle died, he went back to his house and looked at all this blues album that he had, and he started falling in love with the blues music. And this is kind of his way of giving that homage to the blues music, because
uh,
throughout the movie, it's it's one of the best movie I have seen where they have incorporated music into the story,
mhm.
because the movie itself is about music.
Yeah.
Like there's so much to it. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so talking about the music itself, right? It almost felt like a musical in some ways, because every song, every music has some meaning, it takes forward the story. And the music in the song in the barn, that felt like the movie is transitioning from one phase to another, right? If we really look at it, after that music, after that song, that it's shot really well, right? Like, it's like piercing between past and the future, and between cultures and all of that. And right after that, right, then we get vampires, and the movie starts getting like, it from drama to, it gets to more like horror movie, right? So
Yeah, this
mhm,
one thing. Okay, see, this is something that comes when you rewatch the movie. The horror element was is is there in first 45 minutes. We just don't pay attention to it because we're still
mhm,
trying to figure out what the movie is.
yeah,
When you and if you remember not, when Salt and Smoke takes this preacher boy to get this car, and then they have this car that looks like they might have robbed from somebody in Chicago,
mhm,
and then when they take the thing
snake,
off on the backside, the snake
yeah,
comes right in.
uh,
Like, so there's all those small element
uh,
of that horror and surprise right from start. But
uh,
again, we we are so entwined into the actual what's happening into the movie that you don't pay attention to those, and it kind of comes back. The
uh,
scene that you are talking about is very interesting, because I did not realize how controversial that scene was.
it was controversial.
Because
Hmm.
yeah, so there's like either people absolutely love it or
Uh,
people hate it. Because the reason people hate it is because they felt like it was unnecessary. It was not moving the movie forward. It was not doing anything to the movie, and it almost felt like it was forced into the movie for a lot of people. I did not realize that too, because I thought that was one of the best scene of the movies, right? Like the way
yeah.
they did. And again, I don't think there was controversy regarding how well the scene was done, but
Mhm.
there was controversy regarding uh if that was necessary or not. And I think this is what makes this very interesting is for Ryan to do what he did on this movie, right? With that particular scene. If you think about it, it can feel like, oh, did you needed it, right? But what he's trying to do is he's taking this bold step of saying this is my movie and I want to put a print of me in this movie. This that particular scene was his tribute to his uncle of all this blues music throughout the generation. There's Chinese music. There's all this music kind of incorporates into something. Like there's no one genre of movies, right? Like
Mhm.
there's just a combination of all this movie going in and creating this form of art, which again you can talk about how movies are transformable, how poetry is this, how books are this, but I don't think there is any better medium of communication or like show of culture than music, like in any culture. Like it's the purest form of art for me in any culture.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And I'm surprised, but not surprised as well, that people find it unnecessary. But that particular scene was was the best scene of the entire movie for me, right? And there are so many reasons behind that song itself, right? That part, because in the initial part as well, that preacher talks about music being seen and those sort of things, and
His
it
father, yeah.
translates there, right? And also they talk about piercing through dimensions, and the vampire part comes into it because the vampire is not able to leave this world, right? And has been living on this earth for like I don't know how long period of time. It talks about
It
that.
I think it he has been out since second century or something because
Yeah.
he's Irish. The
Hmm.
vampire is Irish, and he talks
Yeah.
about how Christian came and took his father's land,
Hmm.
and that event happened right around like second century. So this vampire has been there since second century,
Hmm.
which is crazy
Yeah.
thing to think about.
And also, the movie itself is about preserving a tradition, and it shows how the tradition has passed through generations as well, right? And also, it also has a multicultural element to it. And like I said in the beginning, right, it, that's when the movie transitions from being a drama movie to more horror movie, right? After that, the vampire actually shows up, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm surprised.
Yeah. So the thing about that particular scene too is like when the movie it starts right at the beginning, there's like a narrative going on about like how music has been transformed throughout the year, blah blah blah. There's like a animated narrative right at the front,
Hmm.
and at the end it says music heals people, and also music. Then I've written it down over here. It says music can bring healing but also attract evil,
Hmm.
like right at the front. So it almost feels like this music has transformed so much, and this vampire are also attracted by this music because at the end you see how vampire really wants the preacher boy more than anybody else, right? Because they are so attracted uh by the music, by his voice and all that. And I think that particular music kind of transcends it to that. But again, for me it's like the way I say it is, I don't know, it doesn't really happen on cricket, but in basketball, when you know you are going to score and put a layup, sometimes these players either dunk, right? Or either makes like crazy moves and then puts the ball in. It's not necessary to do that because but they do it because they are trying to show that their dominance. They're like, I own this court.
Hmm.
I'm the best, right? And I almost felt like that scene, as you said, being the transition between going from being this period kind of thing to being a horror movie. It's also something that this director says. Honestly, if this movie was, I mean, it's still made by a big corporate company, but you will not see this in Captain America.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You will not
Mm-hmm.
see this kind of like bold, in innovative idea in Captain America. It
Mm-hmm.
and again, we I think we're gonna talk about both. We're gonna talk about one battle after another too. But one thing I realized both this movie, how independent this movie feels like it.
Mm-hmm.
This movie does not feel like a studio movie, right? Didn't you feel same way? It almost feels like an indie movie.
Mm-hmm.
It has that feeling of like an indie movie feeling. Didn't you feel that way?
Yeah, that happens when the production they fully trust the director, right? Like, in both cases, right? And it seemed like the vision of director was he was working on that instead of he was compromising on vision, right? He had a vision and he worked on it and he did not compromise his vision for the production or company, right? So yeah, that's why it brings in those elements of directors, right?
Yeah. And another thing about this movie, it's his own screenplay. So the way, I don't, did you notice when they go to the grocery store, like right when they go outside on the grocery store, uh Smoke, yeah, Smoke is talking to this girl and is like, hey, make do you want to watch my car? I'll give you
Mm-hmm.
money. And then she says, I'll give you 15 cents. And she's like,
Yeah.
okay. And it's like, why are you happy? Why are you not bargaining? And when he says that, they kind of make bargain and they come to $20, 20 cents. And then once she goes inside, he's bargaining with this Asian store owner about
Mm-hmm.
how much for the sign for the juke joint that they are about to create. So they go back
Mm-hmm.
and forth like $20, $14, $15, $13. But the crazy thing about that is he goes into the, because this is still segregated South, it's still
Mm-hmm.
segregated Mississippi, right? So he goes into the black only store. So the thing on black only store is so different. And then the dad says, go and get your mom. Mom is
Mm-hmm.
working on the white
Other
only
side.
store,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
other side of it. But the camera runs right behind the girl, behind the
Mm-hmm.
daughter, and you can see like the line, right?
Mm-hmm.
See the
Yeah.
line between like segregated black and segregated and then white, and how the camera goes in for like big one shot into the
Yeah.
whole thing. It's amazing.
Yeah. That's why I'm surprised. Again, going back to the music thing, right? People think it's unnecessary. Here, everything felt like it was aiding to the storytelling, right? From music to camera movement to colors, use of colors as well, right? So everything was contributing to the movie, like, pushing the movie forward, adding those elements. If you notice those things, those little things, then you'll be like, man, this is really good movie, right?
So that's how it makes, like, that's how good movies are made. Good
Mhm.
movies are made by combination of so many different element into the movie that you don't feel something is forced. You don't feel
Mhm.
something is put in there. It's just subtle. Like for an example, almost for the first 20, 30 minutes of the movie, all most of the shots are wide shots
Mhm.
because they want you, the filmmaker, they want you to feel the entire thing. So you see wide shot of this plantation, you,
Mhm.
everything is wide, right? As somebody who is so afraid of wide shot, because it almost, for me, whenever I'm doing something and I want to put a wide shot, it almost feels like, oh, I'm trying to relay certain kind of emotion.
Mhm.
Do you think this wide shot would do justice? Because you can't see the emotion of people's face.
Mhm.
But I think one thing you need to realize as a filmmaker is like the wide shot of where you are is also the part of your story. It's not
Yeah.
just like flesh and blood individual, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, those white shots were very crucial because of those white shots, you might not like be thinking like consciously, but subconsciously, what happens is that those white shots transform you to that era, right? If they didn't have used so much white shots, because in the later half of the movie, it's mostly born only, right? You don't get that feeling at all. Even if it's white shot, it's dark outside, right? You don't get that element. So the focus was to transform you to that period.
And one thing, see, this movie is a 24-hour movie.
Hmm.
So even happens within 24 hours, right?
I didn't
And
think about
there,
that. Yeah, that's true.
yeah, everything happens within 20. It's only
Hmm.
24-hour movie from start. Like as soon as the start says, and the you are the sinner, blah blah blah. The
Hmm. Yeah.
dad preacher says that, and 24 hour ago. So it's a 24-hour duration. But
Hmm.
on this kind of movie, which has 24-hour duration, it feels like you are doing like there are a lot of movies like the Chameleon, like there's so many movies which just works within that time frame of 5 or 6 hours,
Hmm.
or like a night, or like a whole 24-hour time frame. On all that kind of movie, one thing feels like, why is fucking everything happening in one day?
Hmm.
Right? That's how you feel like it on those kind of movies. Like, why is everything happening today? Like
Hmm.
all this
Yeah.
thing had to happen today, right?
Hmm.
But on this movie, you don't feel that way.
Hmm.
You don't feel like, oh, everything is happening, like coming in and ending today. Like it does not feel forced. It feels so smooth out. Like these
Hmm.
guys are here. Are they running away from somebody from Chicago, or are they trying to did they rob a casino and then came over
Hmm.
here to hide away from people, or whatever they are here for? They want to start a joint, black only
Yeah.
joint.
Hmm.
On weekend, black people can go have fun, and it does not feel like you are forcing it. It feels
Yeah.
very natural for to it.
That's also because of the amount of time they spent pre that song, right? Where they explain about like they spend more time exploring for each characters, right? By the time shit goes to the fan, you already know what that character is feeling, why that character is doing like that, right? So that's advantage of like exploring the characters very well, so that you don't have to explain anything at that point, right?
Right.
Like some
And the
movies, they
thing,
have like like when towards the end they do like flashback and they try to explain why that character is feeling, but that's already too late. But here you don't have to do that.
yeah, and the guy who is on a train station, and they uh, promise him to give him $40 and Irish beer, right?
Mhm.
See,
Yeah.
this is the vampire is Irish. They got all this Irish beer bringing in from Chicago, so there's a lot of like Irish Irish root to it.
Mhm.
And then once they take it, so they have this shot of this guy. The I forgot what his name, what his character is. Uh,
See, that's the
I
another thing, right? Like you might not know the name of those characters, but you will remember
huh?
how they are feeling and like where they came from and all of those things, right? So
Right.
that's another
S-
beauty of it.
So the thing is, this character is so he's on a car with them, and then he's on a car with them, and they're going through it. So he's there. This one is Smoke is there, and Preacher Boy is on back, and they have this shot, and then they go through it, and there is this white guy on a horse making all these black people there like singing
Mhm.
and working,
Mhm.
and he gets up and says hi, and this white guy like shoots a gun on the air
Mhm.
to like threaten them, like, hey, get
Mhm.
back to work. And then this guy sits down, and preacher was like, do you know them? And it's like, all of them. And he talks about, and in that scene, right, he talks about how one of his friend got lynched on a
Mhm.
train station, and they robbed his $2 that he made from singing blues to these people. And he talks about how he got lynched. The crazy thing is, on background they use the music, the sound
Mm-hmm.
of people chasing him. He's
Mm-hmm.
crying. They are lynching him. Like you hear all the sound of it, and you don't see that, but you hear the sound and you see what he's saying through his description and through his facial expression and the way he does this. Like there's so much like pain that you see on him. It's again, it's not over dramatized, it's not overdone, it's just there. And in that particular scene, the preacher boy is so upset about it, but Smoke is very casual and smiling about it, because that shows Preacher Boys has seen all this. He has gone through all that. Preacher Boy is so much younger that may not have seen this extreme yet. So there's so many of those kind of elements throughout the movie, which makes it very interesting.
Yeah, and one more thing talking about that, the symbolism of the guitar itself, right? There are like lots of symbolism, but one of the core symbolism was handing over the culture and tradition as well, right? And by the towards the end of the film, the guitar gets destroyed, and it also saves his life, right? But then he restores it and uses that like forever, right? So that's also another element of it, which which was pretty cool to see. And talking about the guitar itself, the scene towards the beginning of it when he opens the door and you're not sure, like, is he possessed, is he a vampire, or what's going on, right? And you get that answer towards the end. I'm not talking about the post-credit
Right.
scene, but towards the end you get the answer of it, right? So yeah.
Yeah. And then the scene of um salt smoke, man, I always get this confused so much. Smoke, right? No,
Mhm,
Smoke. Smoke is the one. He lost his daughter, and the pain of it, but it's
mhm,
just like everything is so shoddily done. So like again, it you can feel those characters, the way they feel the pain of what they are going through, but
mhm,
they're looking forward to something and stuff like that. And crazy thing is, one thing I did not think about the symbolism of vampire, right? For longest time, I thought they tried to symbolize vampire as like racist,
mhm,
right? The idea of
mhm,
racist people attacking and all. But actually, what they are trying to do is they are talking to these black folks in this juke joint, like, hey, this life is better than what you have there, the life that you guys are living. Come on this side, like we
mhm,
are the immortal one. Your
mhm,
life is shit anyway.
mhm,
There's racism, there's
mhm,
discrimination, there's this and that. Come on our side. Like they are trying to convince them to come on their side, rather than like symbolism of all this kind of stuff. And then again at the end scene when he kills this KKK coming into the juke bar and
mhm.
all that, and he sees his daughter like pass back and all. It's pretty well done. It just works as just a story. Uh,
Yeah,
again,
talking
even
about the
if you
scene
take the
you just
horror out of it.
mentioned, right? About that,
Hmm.
them trying to convince to come to this side, which is better, right? It's there's the symbolism of like uh, getting towards the other cultures, other tradition, like being enticed by other cultures, all other tradition, because for okay, so for the twins, I remember them as one wearing red and one wearing blue, right? I think Smoke was wearing blue
Hmm.
and the other one was wearing red. So that's how I remember red and blue. So the red was more attracted towards like, more modern things, like, other cultures and those kind of things. Whereas the Smoke wearing blue was more rooted to the culture, right? So that's another element of it as well.
Did you know they had a twin consultant?
Whoa. Okay.
So they had a twin consultant. There was
Mhm,
this twin guys who work as a consultant,
uh-huh,
and the way the director was talking about is like they felt so similar together,
uh-huh,
but when you talked individually to themselves, they felt so different.
uh-huh,
And I think you see that in the movie. When they are together, they feel like kind of same, like they're
uh-huh,
working toward one thing, same person. But once you separate it, there's
mhm.
so much difference between each of them.
Exactly, and that's one of the beautiful point, right? Like for the story itself, why did they have to be twins? They could be brothers or like
There's a reason
cousins or
for it too.
whatever, right? So
There's a reason.
yeah. So from my opinion, the reason is that individuals are different, right? You could be born in the same house, same upbringing, everything, yet you could be different from one another, right? So, what's
So
your take on that?
that's your perspective, right?
Uh,
When I first thought about it, it's like they just want two Michael B. Jordan.
yeah.
That was my
Mhm,
perspective. But actual reasoning behind it is again goes back to the same thing. This for him is homage to his uncle who was a blues singer, blues
mhm,
fan. And he says that on blues culture, they find gospel,
mhm,
no, they find music and religion as like a twin, like
mhm,
blues finds religions and
mhm,
gospel as a
mhm,
twin of each other. So
mhm,
blues is, so if you think about blues, it's almost like a gospel, but it's not a gospel,
mhm,
right? So on blues music, you have religion and you have gospel as like a twin. That's why he wanted to create a twin character, so he can have both, like symbolize.
mhm,
Again, this might be a vampire movie. This might be a movie about like the situation in 1930s America, segregation and all that. But on core, this is movie about blues music. This is movie about music, and I think that's what he was trying to do with the twins. Again, he might have said it for saying it, but I mean, kind of makes sense.
Yep. Adding to that and kind of like summarizing everything, for me, this movie was true piece of art, and it can be interpreted as different ways. And you might dislike it as well. That's purely up to you. But this was a pure work of art.
Yeah, I think that way too. I think so they did this research after the movie ended. What percent of the movie goer went to movie to watch Michael B. Jordan, and what percent went for the director? Because again, he's a Black Panther director, he's a Creed director, so he's a director who has big name. And before the movie, I think it was 47-42 Michael B. Jordan. So 47% of went for Michael B. Jordan and 42% went for the director. And I think later on, like 50 or 60% said they stayed for the director.
Mhm,
I as as a filmmaker, as a director, it makes me like, again, one thing you did not realize, that we never talked about how good the acting was,
mhm,
right? We talked about how good the characters were, right? So that also makes you see the movie through the lens of director, through the lens of director of photography. Like it makes you go on different layer
mhm,
than just watching the movie just for the sake of the movie, just for the story itself. It has like a deeper meaning into it. And again, I find that fascinating. Like, how do you differentiate between a good movie and a really good movie?
mhm.
Is like good movie gonna have a really good story that gonna engage you, that gonna keep you on your seat, that won't gonna let you look at your phone, right? But really good movies will do all that, but there will be so much underneath it. As I
Yeah.
said before, peeling of onion. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
see onion as itself, but once you
Mm,
start peeling it, there's so many things inside it. But it's still onion, right? But
mhm.
this like, and again, I love that kind of movie, and I yeah, I loved it. I liked the movie a lot.
Yeah, one of the element we haven't really talked about is the music of the movie. I'm not necessarily talking about the song itself, but the music background
Mhm.
score, right?
Background score,
And
definitely gonna win the best background score,
yep,
100%.
yep, yep. Okay, now shall we move on to one battle?
Let me see if I have something else of Cena that I want to talk about. So, you don't follow American football, right?
Not too
Do you
passionately.
know Josh Allen? Josh Allen.
No.
So he's a quarterback. He's a very popular quarterback of Buffalo. His girlfriend,
Hmm.
then girlfriend, was Haley Seinfeld, which is
Hmm.
the Mary in this movie,
Hmm.
and her her role is amazing. All the one liners she talks about, how, like, you left me, blah blah, like,
Hmm.
again, I don't want to go profanity, but the way she uses profanity in the movie against smoke, it's like, it's
Yep.
amazing. It's so good. And I was listening to someone, and they're like, after Josh Allen watched that movie, it's like, I get a better marry this right now, otherwise Michael B. Jordan gonna take her. And then
Yeah.
honestly, they got married like more or less
Mhm.
right after the movies.
Ooh.
It's like,
Mhm.
but again, that was not the reason. But they're like, yeah, better do it, otherwise I gonna take it. Yeah, yeah. I love the movie. Before we go to one battle after another, anything you did not like about the movie? Anything you thought like, hey, why are we doing this?
um, Not about the movie itself, but I think the trailer did not do justice to the movie because when I watched the trailer, I wasn't very keen to watch the movie, to be honest, right? And
I haven't watched the trailer yet.
yeah,
Were they
so
promoting it as like an action movie?
no, they were very vague about it. So that's why I did not know it was a vampire movie. And yeah, it did not look very flattering because if we talk about Black Panther's trailer and teasers and all of that, the use of music again in those teasers, trailers, it was very cool, very interesting, right? Like, I after watching trailer, I looked for the songs and I was, listening to that song for Black Panther. But for this one, it wasn't very flattering, I would say. So it didn't draw me to like, watch the movie.
Watch the movie, yeah.
Mm,
Again, somebody who did not watch the trailer or anything. Uh, so this movie comes into this that category of movies uh, made by black director
mhm,
Jordan Peele, with us, with
mm. Get Out.
what is the other movie? Get
Get
Out,
Out.
right?
Mhm,
For some reason, I think horror is a genre they choose to show the societal differences,
mhm,
like the racism, the racial differences and stuff like that in movie. They use, it's almost comes from that root of like Jordan Peele kind of movie into this. And again, when you attach that with blues, with music, it takes into different dimension. I think the thing that I did not like were like the fight scenes of vampire and stuff like that. Again, I know why they did it, to create that extra sense of like build up the story, right? Create that extra tension and stuff like
mhm,
that. But I was not a big fan of the fight, and I'm like, hey, vampire, why are you always going on somebody's neck? Isn't it just easy
mhm,
to like bite somebody's hand, like, and
mhm,
turn them into vampire, right? Those kind of things. But again, I think at that point, it's almost like a somebody hypnotizing you,
mhm.
and toward the end you're just like, yeah, I'm hypnotized, like what can I do, like I'll just go with the flow kind of feelings. When you watch the movie, the director has already hypnotized you. you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
so nothing you can do about it. But
Okay,
yeah,
so
I think yeah,
mm,
yeah. Sorry, go
So,
ahead.
what do you think about the post-credit scene? I was not expecting a post-credit scene in this movie,
Yeah,
and
I
was
mean,
genuinely surprised by it.
I think what he was trying to do is he was trying to bring his big studio movie ideas. Again, same thing. Like, whatever we talk about this movie, for some reason, I'd like to talk it through the lens of director, right? It's like, hey, I gave you guys this scene in middle of the movie that for a lot of people may not make sense and feel like, why do you have it here? What I'll do is I'll bring a little bit of that commercialized Black Panther, that superhero movies post credit thing, and put it into it. It's almost like this director. He's like he's playing.
Uh-huh.
He's in his zone. I think he did. I haven't researched it yet, but uh he has this movie figured out in a way that I think he has right for the movie for 25 years. So there's some kind of like directorial uh, ownership of the movie. So he's just feeling his zone, because before this movie he was 4 out of 4 on all his movies. So it's like, hey, I got 4 out. It's almost like Rajkumar Hirani. Like,
Uh-huh.
they will let you do whatever you want to do, and that's what Ryan is like. Hey, I can do whatever I want to do, and let me bring this in. And I like the scene too, but I'm just talking about actual context of like why he went with that and all.
Yeah, and also if he wants to direct a spin-off or a sequel of it, he can do that now, right? So,
He said no. He has said no. I looked it up. He has said absolutely none. This was one movie. This is one movie. I'm not making this movie scene or two or anything.
well,
Maybe
if
after 25 years, maybe
uh,
after 25 years when his ownership goes away, maybe studio might want to do scene or two, but I don't think he will do it. And I
well,
believe him.
there could be a spin-off as well, right? Like you're not
Yeah,
directing a
yeah.
movie, but there could be a
But I
series.
think that's one of the reason he wanted ownership. I don't think he
Uh,
wants it.
uh,
Right? So
uh,
for 25 years, they cannot do anything unless he wants it.
uh.
But again, I don't think he wants it. So I'm pretty confident. I don't think we're gonna see a spin-off on it. Okay, now on part two, we're gonna talk about one battle after another. Right after this. Hello everyone. Go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel wherever you guys are watching this, on TikTok, UTNPL, YouTube UTNPL, Instagram UTNPL, Facebook, wherever you guys are watching. We are trying to create a production house where we can talk about film, culture, and sports on one spot. Help us grow the channel. Thank you so much. Okay, welcome back. After that, now we're gonna talk about one battle after another. What did you think about it?
Again, carrying some elements from the previous movie. Watching trailer, I wasn't sure what kind of movie it was, and I wasn't really excited by the trailer itself, right? So, like going to the movie, I did not know what to expect out of it. And as I was watching it, I got a lot of elements of current political conditions, situations in the country, and I was like, when did they get this time to like direct this movie, like, put this movie together? Because it almost felt like we are living in that sort of presence in some ways, right? So I was fascinated by it. Yeah, that was my experience, like, just towards the beginning of the movie. How about you?
So, I had no expectation going into watching this
Mhm,
movie. I had no idea what this movie is about. I had no clue. Again, as I said, I try to watch movie nowadays without watching anything and just
mhm,
go in like
yeah,
completely empty.
mhm,
And like watching it for first 30-40 minutes, it looked like a revolutionary movie,
mhm,
right? There's a revolutionary group. It's almost like an underground revolutionary group that is pro-immigrant, who thinks
uh,
about there is no border, there is like that sentiment of a very
uh,
left wing group. Uh, but at the end of the movie, I'll go to the end and then I'll come right back. At the end, after that 40 minute, it felt like a movie about a dad and a daughter,
uh,
and a dad who is going and trying to find her daughter.
uh,
That's how I felt about overall movie.
uh.
Again, do you want to know the origin of the movie? I'm I'm the origin specialist over here.
I think
Do
it's
you know
based
the
on a
origin?
novel or something like that, right? Like in its
So yeah, it's
story in the
based on a
past.
novel. Yeah, it's based on a novel called Vinland. So
Uh,
Vinland is a novel about this underground group and all that. But before that, in 1999, Paul Thomas Anderson, the director of the movie, wrote some movie about some kind of a revolution, like revolutionary group. He was thinking, okay, do I want to write about Black Panther, underground Black Panther in
uh,
1960s or stuff like that? And then he came to realize, like, he was like, no, I don't. And then he read this novel and he was like, there's something I like that. I like some element of it. But he was confused how to write the movie. Do I
uh,
write it through the lens of Bob, the dad? Do I write it through the lens of the daughter? And he was kind of like, I don't know. And then he kept it away in 2003. And then he said he watched Les Miserables
uh,
movie, and he was inspired by how they used first 20, 30, 40 minutes of the movie as like a prolong of the movie,
uh,
of the overall movie, and second half would be like the other
uh,
chapters of the movie, and then he started writing this. So you might feel what's happening in this movie is about today's political
uh,
conditions, but he has been writing this movie since 1999,
uh.
which
Yeah,
is
that's
very interesting to
yeah,
think
that's
about
that's
it.
very interesting. Yeah, and also the like you said, the ending and the beginning you talk about, right? It also conveys a message that revolution does not end; it just mutates or it just transitions its hand, right? Uh, it started with the mother, and now the daughter is carrying over the revolution, right? So
Yeah,
that's
but
that's another
daughter
thing.
was a rat. I mean, mother was a rat, though. Mother was
Yeah,
a
but
rat.
did you expected that while
Yeah.
watching the movie?
So
Like,
the thing, oh no, no, no. So the thing about this particular character
uh,
played by uh Tiana Tyler of this particular character, Fridia, whatever her name is, on the character name is. She is member of a revolutionary group, but she is so open about it,
uh,
right? She's so open about it. The scene when she goes and try to get all this detained immigrant out, and she comes out and then gives this open mouth kiss to Bob. Like,
uh,
she's not hiding herself. She
uh,
goes out to this guy. Like, she uses her sexuality
uh,
to like distract this guy. So
uh,
I feel like she's out there.
uh,
So when she betrayed them, I did not had a feeling that, oh, this is coming out of a left field. I feel like, yeah,
uh,
if I was her, I would do exactly same thing. Like her character, I would
uh.
exactly do same thing.
Yeah,
That's how I
for
felt.
me, when she like read it out, I felt betrayed. Like, what are you doing? Like, so like for me, it looked like she was kind of like central character until that point, right? She was leading the revolution and all of that, and at that point, I was like, okay, what just happened, right? So yeah,
Yeah, I did not feel that way. I feel
uh,
like another thing too on this particular movie is, right, again, if you guys have watched 58 minutes of us and you don't think there's a spoiler, you guys are foolish. So So the thing about this movie is the she knows that this is not Leonardo's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She knows it,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
She knows it. So there is a sense of guilt inside her.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, like, hey, I don't want to take responsibility of this kid. Little bit of
Mm-hmm.
post,
You
what do
know,
you call the
postpartum.
post traumatic, yeah, postmortem kind of thing
Partrum.
to
Yeah.
it, like
Yeah.
you are taking more care of this kid and not
Mm-hmm.
me, and she leaves the house and all that. So I think all that, if you collect all that, the next step that she makes kind of makes sense too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it
So
does.
again,
And also talking about the particular scene. So there's this scene where she goes and meets the military guy in the hotel, right? And
his
then
name
right,
is Lop.
yep,
What is Sean Penn? His name is
yeah,
Lockjaw.
Logja, yep. And right after that scene, it direct cut to the scene where she is like firing machine
Shooting
gun
on
with pregnant, right?
with
And
pregnant.
you
Yeah,
can see
yeah.
that frustration in her face, right? So it's like subtle way of saying, okay, she did this, and now this is the consequence, and this is how the character is feeling right now, right?
Yep, yep, yeah. So that makes sense. Again, that makes a lot of sense, and what she did betraying it.
Mm.
Uh, another thing you might talk about, the camera work on this movie. Did you realize something about the camera work in this movie?
I realize a lot of things, but what are you trying to?
Okay, I want to listen. I want to listen.
So, so one of the camera movement that I really like is that this movie had one of the best car chase scene ever, right? The going up and down, and that was the highlight of it. And also, they're not about just the camera movement, but the way everything is portrayed. There is no glamour element of like anything at all, right? Looking at Leo's character, it does not look heroic at all, right? He
He's a
is
common
high.
guy. He's a
Yeah,
common
he's a
guy.
common
Yeah.
guy, and he is high most of the time in the movie. Towards the second half, especially, he cannot even shoot straight, right? He cannot even shoot to save his life or his daughter's life. He cannot even remember the password. That's like the most important thing he should have remembered. He's so flawed, right? From the outfit he wears for the second half of the movie to like his appearance and all that, right? And yet he is heroic, right? Like he saves his or protects his daughter regardless of so many flaws.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, the thing about camera work that I
Mm-hmm.
was trying to focus on is all the cameras were moving almost always.
Mm-hmm.
It was always moving. It was always like, it almost, and it kind of makes sense with the overall movie because they're all running away from something,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like Bob has this history of all this, like previous history of all this revolution, everything. He is living off grid life,
Mm-hmm.
like he's off the grid. He doesn't have a phone. He doesn't want to do this because he don't want to get tracked. So everybody is running away from something, and you feel the sense of everybody running away from something
Mm-hmm.
with the camera work, with everything. The only time you saw camera not moving is when somebody is in stable condition,
Mm-hmm.
somebody is not running away from something. So there's something about like the way they used camera on this movie. And funny thing is, I was listening to the director's interview, and he was like, this particular guy who is his director of photography, he is working on some other movies right now, and he feels like his girlfriend is cheating on him with somebody else because he's going out and making a movie with somebody else. It was
Mm-hmm.
pretty funny. But yeah, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so that was the element, right? Like you said, the camera is always moving. Uh, it almost feels like when the movie starts, they're trying to take you on this journey with themselves, right? Like that's what you feel like throughout the movie, like the car scene where Leo jumps off the car and all of that, right? Like it's constantly moving. You feel the presence of it. And again, about the car scene where Leo jumps, right? They don't show you, like, if it's a uh, chase scene or the cop is behind you, is trying to pull you over, they don't show you the cop at all, right? Like, they are just driving, there's this siren behind them, but they don't actually show. It's like kind of like a medium shot with them, the characters themselves only, right? It almost feels like you said in the earlier part, like indie movie vibe, right? Like as if like they didn't have enough movie, enough fun to have, like, cop
And they had
actually chase you.
$170 million just to
Yeah,
let you know.
yeah. So it's not about the budget, right? It's about, it adds more element to it because the most important thing was happening there, right? They were scared. It was chaotic moment, and Leo was, he could not, like, he didn't know what to do, right? So everything was focused, and the most important thing was happening inside the car, and that's what they focused on, right?
Yeah, and there are so many so there are so many elements on this movies that is tough to say because they create the name characters based on so many other older books, so many revolutionary. There's so many subtle things on it that it's out of, like, it's tough for me to uh catch on to all of those elements because they're like they're they're doing their own thing. But one thing I realized in this movie is the use of this daughter, right, who is living off grid, but also trying to live as the adult she is of today's time,
Hmm.
right? She still has a phone that she hides from his father, that father does not know about. She goes out on all these different dances and stuff like that, that his father doesn't want her to do it because he feels like they will be able to track her and she'll be able to do all that kind of stuff. So the element of that generational gap between the father and daughter is portrayed. So it's all not just like one kind of movie. Again, the same thing we talked about. There is one story. There is one big story of this revolutionary people running away. They're trying to
Hmm.
find him, blah blah blah. But there's other stories underneath of it that makes it much more exciting.
Yeah, there's another lens you can look at the generation
Hmm.
gap, right? Because if you really look at it, she, again, spoiler, she is not his biological daughter, right?
Right.
So throughout the movie until the very end, there is this tension between them, right? Like, tension of like mistrust kind of thing, right? Not between them, but like daughter is not really, again, she is a teenager in the movie, and like that's kind of like rebel vibe. But again, there's this element of not gelling well together with the father, right? And it's only after she knows the truth, and then she kind of like, bonds with her father, right? So there is another way you can look at that as well.
That's true. And the one crazy thing is the actor that who plays daughter. I think it's her first movie. And they were talking about where was she nervous about this that and like did you guys involve her on the process? And he said, yeah, of course, because I'm close to 65, 60 years old man. I don't
Hmm.
understand the mentality of 15, 16, 17-year-old kid.
Hmm.
So the idea of her having a phone was something that the actress came up with
Hmm.
because obviously she's a kid. She's gonna have phone. Like she will figure out to have a phone. She'll figure out to do it. But the other crazy thing about that is how Leo tries to adapt
Mhm.
to the girl. She's like, when she brings her friend, and it's like, so what do I call them? She, he, they, them.
Uh,
He's trying to like be more. And when the guy comes, oh, what's up, homie? Like he's just trying to
blend
be
in.
as close, yeah,
Yeah.
as
Mm.
blend into the daughter. And again, I find, yes, there is political elements of it, right? There's politics to it and all that. But for me, the movie is mostly about the relationship between father and daughter, and that's how I take it. Similar to the Sinner, right? The movie is about X, Y, and Z, but there is so much more element inside of the movie than just that. And performance of Sean Penn, man, oh my god, that guy is something.
Yep, yep. It was really interesting, right? His voice, the way he walked, the way he
His
talked.
manner, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And there's
his
this scene, I think like towards the later half of the movie, where he is going to meet those high chair people, and he's in the elevator, and he uses his hand and saliva to like fix his hair, right? So yeah, that's yeah, those little things, it carries it, kind of enhances his character, like what he's all about, right?
yeah, the Christmas adventure group, right? So it's a
Yeah.
Christmas adventure group. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's an extreme white nationalist group, and there's a lot of like people on law enforcement involved on that particular group and
Uh-huh.
all that. So he wants to be member of that group so badly, but there's uh, on their background they figure out that she might have a black daughter,
Uh-huh.
and she wants and they want to figure out. So he wants to eradicate her so he can go out and be the member of the group. So that's more or less the second part of the movie.
Uh-huh.
It kind of blends in with that. And bro, I loved how he's killed. That we talked about Sinner. Again, for you, it might be the chase scene because of your cinematographic head.
Uh-huh.
For me, it's that scene when he's like, "This is your office. I'll be right back," and he's
Mhm.
fucking gassed.
Yeah, but
It's like,
again, so there's another element of it, right? Because if you look at it, he died kind of peaceful, and he died living his dream. Like, he kind of fulfilled his dream to be in that office, to join them in his mind, right? And he was
mm-hmm.
happy. He was not like struggling or anything. He was happy, and he just passed out, right? So for him, he died. He ended his story in very high.
I don't know. For me, it's like a perfect end to a character.
Uh,
Again, going historically, right?
uh,
Going historically, how neo Nazis
yeah.
like
Mm,
gassed Jews and
mm,
stuff like that. So this is a neo Nazi group too. Like
mm,
Christmas Adventure is like a
yeah. Mm,
white is the bigger race and all that. So the guy who thinks that he is, because of his skin color, he is higher race than any other, and the way he dies is the similar way 2 million Jews were killed. Like, I don't know, I liked that combination. Again,
uh,
as a writing of it, I liked that combination of how they overlapped those things and how his life ended. I liked that scene. I don't know, I think this is our
mm.
controversy.
And also, like, even that scene itself, right? Because with the car chase and all of that, it looked like he died in the car crash, right? But then he
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
back
that
and
was
up and
that's
all
something
of
we can
that, right?
talk about. What I didn't like about the movie.
Yeah, yeah. So that scene was almost as if they were not happy with the ending of that character, like you said, right? Like, so they tried to give that extra element of gas and impurity and all of that. Uh,
Yeah, I think they wanted that symbolism of it. I
mhm,
think that's the thing. I think they wanted the symbolism of how he dies,
mhm,
somebody who wants to be part of them, and it also shows you that, like, hey, people on this kind of group, uh, will it's not just someday you will be their enemy.
Mhm.
You might be a friend at that time, but it's because what they are doing is they are living life by subtracting people. So once you subtract and you subtract and you subtract, you'll find something to subtract,
Subtract.
subtract,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, hey, for this point, yes, you might feel like you are the part of it,
Mhm.
but eventually you will be subtracted too.
Mhm.
In this scenario, because he had a black daughter,
Mhm.
right? And other scenario, it might be something else. So that's I think I like that element of it. Another thing, there is there's a lot of similarity between director Leonardo and the daughter, because PTA is married to a black girl,
Mhm.
Maya Rudolph, and her and they have a black daughter. So he kind of created that element
Mhm.
into the movie too. So
That's interesting.
yeah, so that's the thing about this kind of thing is like when you are the screenwriter, when you are the director, you put so much of your element into the movies
Mhm.
because that's part of who you are, that's part of your movie. So it's interesting to know those kind of tidbits. What else, what do you think about other stuff on it?
Like going back to the ending and what you were saying, I think there's a slight hint or commentary about the both sides, right? Like it's just like if you're an extremist, then at any moment your friend can turn into your foe, right? You
Hmm.
They can rat you out, or they can see you as impure or whatever, right? So there's that element of just overall commentary on extremist part of it.
Yeah, and the last scene when she, yeah, that you want to talk
Oh
about
yeah.
that last scene, the car chase scene?
So the car chase scene is like it's epic, right? Because they're they are going in multiple directions, and the use of the camera angle and like going up and down, like those hills, uphill and downhill, and all of that, right? Like it's epic. And talking about the towards the end, right? She takes the gun and she shoots at the guy who is chasing her in Corvette or Mustang, and then she is like really paranoid, and like she feels someone is coming, and it's her father, but Leo is also not sure about like who is in the other side of the rock, right? And even after like seeing each other for the daughter, she cannot fully trust her father rather, right? And it takes a moment to like finally sink in, right? Like oh,
I
he is
think
my
she
father.
uses the password. She uses the password, and he has to repeat the password before she comes
Yeah.
out, because yeah, at that moment she's in different, again, good from bad, good from right, great movie like that scene you saw, that you could just come in, hug and done. But again,
Mhm.
you think about it at that scenario, when you just killed someone, when you just
Mhm.
escaped being killed, you are traumatized. So no way you just gonna be, oh, my dad, he's here, blah blah blah,
Yeah,
right?
and
So
also
you,
talking about
so
that,
that
like
element.
that's the exact moment when she transitions from being a daughter or being a teenager to being a rebel, and
Yeah,
potentially a leader in that role, right? So yeah.
you see how she goes out, and then
Hmm.
at the end of the movie
Yeah.
she gets a phone call and there's a
Mm.
protest on Oakland or
Mm.
something, and she runs out of the house with the car. So yeah, that's the moment she becomes like a
Mm.
woman from a girl, right?
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
the way we say from a boy to a man, woman
Mm.
from a girl. So yeah, yeah, a lot of interesting element on it. And again, it's one of the important thing is how indie it feels.
Oh yeah.
like how independent, like
Mhm.
indie kind of vibe it feels, regardless of being
Mhm.
$170 million movie. It
Yeah.
feels very indie. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. Did I like it more than Sinners? I don't know, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah, so both of those movies were more like an experience, right? Uh, in this movie, it's like you were running after someone. Like, the entire movie was like, running. The title itself is one battle after another, right? So you felt like you were running all the time from one battle to another. And seen as it was like the cultural thing, and you were following those characters for 24 hours, like you said, right? And also the element of music transitioning you, right? You feeling the music and all of that. And talking about the music itself, while watching one battle after another, there were like music was kind of like similar to what they have in Birdman, right? It was nothing very fancy or very like heart beating or anything like that. It was just like a kind of like a monotone, like just drum beating at the background, just subtle, right? And that kind of like that for me. Whenever I listen to that, it gives me the vibe of like indie movies, right? Like
And another thing also is like it is promoted as action comedy.
uh,
Uh, and there is on second half there is a lot of element of comedy on it,
uh,
right? Like when they're trying to run away from this officers with
uh,
what's that actor's name?
oh man, the Sicario
Uh,
guy,
Del Toro,
Del Toro,
yeah,
yeah.
Del Toro, yeah, Carlos character. So when they're running away with him, it's like all all Leonardo is trying to do is charge his phone.
Mhm.
It's like he's looking,
Yeah, and
he's
the moment he gets
he's looking, yeah, he's looking for charges. Charge is like, where can I charge? Where can I charge? Like I need to
uh,
find it. Like those kind. There are a lot of like comic element. Like the way I said it, should I call them they them? So there's a lot of comic element into it, and again, second half. You feel that comedy on the movie throughout it, and again, one thing when as I'm talking to you about this, one thing I realized the talking about Sinner versus this one is how heavily I did not rely on plot on
uh,
Sinner,
uh,
and how heavily I relied explaining one battle after another through the plot.
uh,
You know, so it's like whenever I'm talking about this element, so this movie does not feel like a personal movie of the writer or director. Maybe because it has some adaptation, right? It is based on something else or like stuff like that. But this movie felt heavy on plotting, and that engaged you. Versus Sinner, which was based lot on very personal, like very subtle underlying meaning to it. Obviously, there is plot, otherwise there is no movie. But it was not heavy on plot. I think one battle after another was very heavy on plot.
yeah, and also there is the element of present day relevancy, right? In one battle after another, there is present day relevancy, not just for the time frame itself, right? But what's happening around us, right? So you can just imagine that kind of thing happening in, let's say,
Yeah.
Michigan or Orlando or wherever, right?
Yep. 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 And the interesting thing about this movie is the Bob character. They go and live on the north side of California, and
Uh-huh,
that's basically where a lot of hippies lives.
uh-huh,
Like who wants to live off grid, they
uh-huh,
live on that North California, South Oregon. That like Oso's Oso used to live there
uh-huh.
with his. Did you watch
Oh,
the
mhm.
what is that?
What
Wild Wild Country?
was it there in North Carolina? I'm not California.
Not in North California, like middle of
Uh-huh,
Oregon, like right around there. So
uh-huh,
it's close. Like that whole region is for
uh-huh,
people who wants to live off grid and out of the way, like
Mhm.
hippie off grid kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
So uh, the scene, the fun fact about the scene that you talked about, the car
Mhm.
chasing scene, that scene was not supposed to be shot there. They were
Mhm.
going to see a location
Mhm.
and they were driving through this, and then PTA put his phone on the dashboard, and then he started like, this is interesting,
Mhm.
this is
Mhm.
interesting, this is interesting, and they decided to do it over there because they wanted that element of like up and down. It's somewhere in California, it's a California road, and
Mhm.
yeah, very dangerous road to drive on.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to talk about, one battle after another?
Let's see if I have anything. Mm, okay, so talking about this, and it would be good transition as well. Do you think Leo or Michael B. Jordan for Best Actor?
No, Michael B. Jordan. I don't think Michael B. Jordan gonna get Best Actor.
Mm.
Let us see the category of Best Actor.
So it's Michael B. Jordan, Leo, Timothy Chalamet, Wagner Moura, or Ethan Hawke.
I think I think they're gonna give it to Timothy.
Mm.
I believe they're gonna give it to Timothy. Let me see something else here. I don't think Michael B. Jordan gonna get the best actor for Sinners. I think Sinners definitely best original screenplay.
Mhm.
I'm pretty guarantee about that. Best screenplay, original screenplay. Yeah. Do we want to jump all around, or do you just want to focus on actor right now?
We can go to supporting actor after this.
Okay, yeah. Actor, I think Timothy. I don't know why I haven't watched that movie yet.
Mhm.
I think it's gonna be Timothy. I think it's gonna be Timothy might get it. Because I okay, let's go to supporting actor, and I'll come back to this why I think it might be Timothy.
Okay, how about supporting actor for you?
Supporting actor Sean Payne, 100%. I can write it down. I can write it down. Supporting actor is Sean Payne.
Mm.
Again, it might come to hunt us. It's a very bad thing to do prediction, but yeah, I think it gonna be Sean Payne from One Battle After Another, like definitely. But he won't gonna come to get the award. That's given. He doesn't go around and on
Really?
award shows and stuff.
Mm.
Oh yeah, he. I can't say he's Amir Khan, but he is somebody else. Like he doesn't like to go to awards, so he's not coming. But I think it's gonna be Sean Payne.
Yep, I absolutely agree with that. That's my prediction too.
Okay. What is your best actor? You didn't say your best actor.
So I haven't watched Marty Supreme, right? So um, I'm impressed with Michael B. Jordan. Leo did great job as well, but for Michael B. Jordan, it was like he was almost as if playing like three different characters and delving deep into those characters as well, right? So that's another element of it, and that's why I'm more inclined towards Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't
And
think Michael B.
also,
Jordan gonna get it.
Leo is very unlucky with Oscar awards, so yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if it's not Timothy, it's gonna be Leo.
Mhm.
But I don't think it's gonna be Michael B. Jordan. I'm fairly confident on that. Okay, let's go to let's see something. Let me try to see something over here real quick. Uh, 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 yeah, okay, let's go to what do you want to go to? Best
uh,
director, best picture?
Cinematography.
I think Sinner gonna get cinematography.
Yeah.
Who else is there? Let us see.
That and One Battle After Another, Martyr Supreme, Frankenstein.
See,
Train
that's a
Dreams.
tough thing when you do not watch other movies. It's
Yeah.
kind of tough to to say it.
Mm,
But uh, I feel like it's gonna be Sinner. The way they shot it and like
mm.
the way it looks, like most of the maybe costume I don't know. Now I'm when I'm talking to you now, I realize maybe they'll give costume design to them and not to this. But
So
I
for
think it's
me,
tough for
when I
me to
was
say. I haven't
watching the
watched
movie
others.
itself, right, the song we talked about
Hmm.
earlier, right, the moment I was like, watching that, I was like, man, this is going to win the best cinematography award for that particular scene
That's how I
itself.
feel too. That's how
Yeah.
I feel too. But again, I haven't watched others.
Uh,
So lot of time if there is like a war movie, again, this is one the thing about Oscar is like how much more importance we put on it. But Oscar is there's so much lobbying around
yeah.
Oscars.
Mhm.
Because there are members voting for Oscars,
Uh,
but for the nomination stuff like that. Uh, so there might be so many different reasons to it, because generally if it's like a war movie and stuff like that, the cinematography tends to get those movie get the best cinematographers. So uh but yeah, I do believe senior from my end on cinematographer. What's the next we want to go?
okay. Film editing.
I don't know, I haven't watched any other movies. I think, even though I haven't watched it,
Mhm.
I think you have watched it. F1 might get film
Yeah.
editing.
Yeah. That's what I'm inclined towards too. And do you know that they use special? I think it's Sony cameras. They use special cameras for those scenes because they were mounted in the F1 car itself, and the way they shot it.
Mm.
But again, this is for film editing. But that give extra power for the editing itself, right? Like it made editing look really nice.
Yeah, generally when it's kind of like a sports movie with high action movie
Mhm.
and stuff like that, those movie tends to get the editing, because it's
Yep.
tough to edit those movies. It's
Mhm.
tough to do those cards and get feel the flow of the movie, because you want to feel the flow of the movie as you watch the movie. So I think it's gonna be F1, even though I haven't watched it.
But again, for sinners, the scene we're talking about, right? This song scene, it's not just cinematography itself; it's editing as well, right? So there
I
is that
think
element.
I think what the way they will think about that scene is
Mhm.
best music or
Okay.
best background score. That
Mhm.
that's I'm pretty sure best background score or best music gonna go to Sinners. So I think that's how they will justify not giving Sinner best cinematography or best editing if they don't give best cinematography.
But again, for editing itself, they are shooting with twins, and there are a lot of elements to it, right? Like having them
Yeah,
share a
but again,
screen.
that's a given technology for a long time. I don't think they'll put too much onto it. I think it's F1. I think it's F1. I don't know. I think it's F1 again. It may not be. Next, let's go next. Let's do this
Okay.
rapid fire.
All right. Next, best director.
Best director. This is tough, because I have a feeling what gonna be best movie,
Mhm. Okay.
and I feel like they will give somebody else best director. Let me see something here. But I don't. Again, what do you think? Okay, what do you think?
So for best picture, I am kind of like split between three, one battle after another, sinners and sentimental value. And for best director, I'm thinking Ryan Coogler.
So people think 91% people
Hmm.
think best director gonna be Paul Thomas Anderson
Hmm.
for One Battle After
Wow.
Another.
Okay. Hmm.
Because the way they do it is he has been nominated for 14 times. He hasn't won it. So they might want to give it this to him, because they believe Ryan gonna get others. So I thought Ryan too, but I
Mhm.
think it gonna be Paul Thomas Anderson.
Okay.
Best movie. What do you think? Best movie. Let's see.
Yeah, best picture, one battle after another, seen as or sentimental value. That's out
No,
of
you need to
those three.
choose one. You can't go three.
So like you said, whoever wins best director, the other is gonna win the best picture, right? Like if Ryan Coogler wins best director, then one battle after another for best picture, or vice versa.
So people think
Mhm.
76% of people think it gonna be one battle after another.
For best picture.
Best picture, and I'm on that 76%.
So best picture for one battle and best director for Thomas
One
Anderson.
battle. Best adapted screenplay. One battle. Best original screenplay.
Ryan Coogler.
Sinner.
Mhm.
Yeah. Best supporting actor. One battle after another. Best actor. Timothy Chalamet. That's how I think. So we might see Sinner. Best background score. Uh, yeah. So I think Sinner's gonna. I don't know about the other categories, but I feel like Sinner won't gonna get as much. I think the biggest winner gonna be one battle after. There's a reason to it too. So that's what I was about to get into. The way Oscar people they vote on it is, and again, it's not just about this movie, right? It's in general. They look at the overall context of when the movie is made and in what time the movie is made, right? So the political situation and stuff like that, I think will make people vote one battle after another than any other movies, because they're gonna feel it more relevance, and it tends to happen throughout movie music and stuff like that. You tend to have what is the relevance thing right now gonna dictate what song gets popular, what like that. So I do believe, I think it gonna be one
One
battle after
battle.
another. Didn't Green Book win best movie, right?
I think it's the best movie or best director. One of them. Yeah.
No, I think it won best
Best
movie.
movie.
Let me
Mhm.
double check. Did Green Book win or not? Yeah, best picture in 2019.
Mhm.
Uh,
Best actor,
so
best supporting actor.
yeah, so that was, again, I think there's a lot to do with what time period you are in, kind of influences what movies get. So I think it's gonna be one battle after another. Uh, so when I say that cinematography, that yeah, I think it's gonna be one battle after another. So
Cool.
I
I feel
think
bad for Ryan Coogler, man.
I think he'll get it. I think he'll get a chance, but
Mhm.
I do believe it's gonna be one battle after another. Well, yeah, we don't know. It may not be, but I think it will be one battle after another.
Okay. So, do you have any other category that you want to talk about?
Not really, man. I mean,
Okay. So, towards the beginning, you were saying that you had some issue with Oscars. Do you want to go into that?
mhm. Yeah, let's go that on briefly because I've been going for almost 2 hours now. The thing about Oscar, the same. First of all, I do not like 10, 20 best movies.
uh,
Make a decision. Make a decision which are five, which are six best movie and ask people to vote on it. Don't give them 10, 20 movies on best movies. Second thing I'm not happy about Oscars is how much lobbying goes into it. How much people depend on if there are enough people putting that movie in front of the member of academy.
Mhm.
I've heard times when the academy member gets the mail in the ballot, and they just ask their family member to fill it out and give it out.
Mhm.
So again, I understand the member of academy voting on a movie, voting on a cinematographer, voting on a this, voting on a that, uh, to get the to be the winner of particular categories and stuff like that. But I believe they need to trim it down and maybe make a committee who votes on it and stuff like that. So I don't always feel like, hey, the best movie got the best movie. It almost feels
Mhm.
like the movie that was promoted got the best movie. So yeah, I have a big issue like that with the
So,
Oscars.
how do you feel about having a set of juries, right? Like a multiple set of juries, and those juries will not know what category they are voting for, right? And they have to, like you said, like if there's 5 movies, then maybe they can do a movie marathon, and they will only know the category when they show up to vote, right? And they'll have to watch the entire movie in like 2 days or 3 days maybe, and then they have to vote, right? So the lobbying part will not be very effective because they might not be voting in that category, right? What do you think about that?
Yeah, again, I don't know what's the solution to it. I just know the problem. I'm good. I'm good at saying what the problem is.
Uh-huh,
I'm not good at saying what the solution is.
uh,
But I think for Oscars, right? Big movies, I think Oscar does not matter. We weren't gonna For smaller movies, Oscars matters. For best international movies, for
uh,
best documentary, for best short movies, the smaller categories. Again, not trying to say any category is smaller than the other, but best hair, best costume, best production design. I think those kind of thing matters when you have Oscar. Uh, does it matter that Leo only has one Oscar? Not really. He's still a good actor. He's still a great actor, right? Like, does it matter James Cameron has X amount of awards, Oscars, or stuff like that? No, it doesn't. Does it matter superhero movies never gets Oscar? No, they're still doing good on box office. So I think for bigger movies, for bigger picture, for bigger artists, Oscar doesn't matter, but it matters for smaller artists, for smaller
uh,
movies and stuff like that. For an example, when was it? 2020, 2021, when Parasite won
uh.
on a lot of category. It mattered for Parasite to win those categories, but it may not matter for One Battle After Another to win all those.
But again, it's kind of counterintuitive, right? Because there is huge lobbying to it, right? And big pictures or big companies, they can afford that, whereas smaller production houses, they cannot really afford that. They might try it,
Yep.
but the lobbying aspect, they cannot really like focus on those, especially if they are
I think
making like indie movies.
that is one of the reason they gave when they expanded Best Picture category to multiple
Uh-huh.
nomination, to give people a lot more options to vote on than just 4 or 5 big movies or 4 or 5 movies with a popular actor or popular director. But
Uh-huh.
again, as I said, somebody who was fan of Oscar and stuff. Again, do I watch it? Yes, but do I care for it? Not really.
Mhm. Okay, so you're kind of being like Amir Khan and Sean Penn then, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, again, I think good movies are good movies. I think good movies gonna find its audience,
Uh-huh.
especially on today's day and time with a lot of streaming service and stuff like that. So good movies will find its audience regardless of if the movie is a blockbuster or not. Like for an example, One Battle After Another did not make any money. because it
Hmm.
was made on such an expensive budget, but it's still a good movie, you know. So again, I think uh, for some reason on this podcast I feel like a downer, but the way movie industry is going right now, the way movie industry is about to merge into
Hmm.
this big giant merger that's about to go on. I don't know how many movies gonna release on theater. It
Hmm.
might only be a big event movie. I think that's already happening in India, right? Like a lot of smaller movies does not get the screen time. It's like big movies, like South Asian movies, like Tamil Nadu movie with like big events. So again, we as we talked about on cricket, we might see a lot of IPLs. A lot of
Hmm.
IPLs came in now and often international matches. I think in movies we're gonna watch big event movies on theater, and most of the other movies we're gonna watch on TV. And I think that's it. By the way, before we go, did you know? Like I think it was Matt Damon who was talking about Netflix instructs its filmmaker to make movies where they explain a lot because they
Interesting.
believe
Mm.
that people are using their phone while they are watching movies.
Uh-huh.
So people will not just be watching the movies, they'll be using phone. So they make them explain stuff that's happening on screen with word.
Wow. Okay.
So
Oh man.
that is interesting fact I wanted
Okay,
to
so
talk
talking
about.
about that, right? Like, talking about having movies only in like streaming platform and not in theater or not getting theatrical releases. That if that's kind of like instruction or direction where filmmaking is going, then for cinephiles or for people who really like to appreciate artisan movies, they're gonna absolutely hate it if they're trying to like over
Yeah,
explain
yeah.
things.
Yeah, they do, and that's why you don't get a lot of exciting movies on Netflix. Like, obviously, there are a few movies that are exceptional and stuff like that, but most of the time, you are getting movies that are like casual watch on Netflix. Uh, with theater, that's why they try to make movies on theaters on different formats, on different this and that. Like they shot one battle after another on IMAX. Like they try to increase the experience of people.
Mhm.
But yeah, uh, again, movie is storytelling. It's transforming you to different world with character. It's all that, and I think as long as movies are doing what it is supposed, what the director or the writer wants the movie to convey, I think it will find its audiences. And I think after COVID, we kind of have moved away from the common experience of movie going in theater and watching movie and stuff like that. Uh,
So there's another
but yeah,
element of that too, right? Like, what the the positive side of having multiple format in the theater can also be the negative side of it, right? Because if we really look at it, there are like three different IMAX formats. Like one is shot for IMAX, or one is film for IMAX, and the other one is experience in IMAX or something like that. There are like three different part of it, right? And the ticket price is also different, right? And for the theater itself, like Cinemark and AMC, they have like basic value theater experience, and then they have like XD and like Dolby or whatever, right? That they have, and the ticket price are different. So if you watch a movie in like very base, then the movie going experience is not as good. If you want to watch in IMAX, then you have to pay extra premium to it, right? So if movies are being released in OTT or streaming platforms only, then theaters also needs to rethink about their financial model. Like, do they want to charge $20 just for people to watch a movie, right? That's
right,
another aspect of it. And again, they are moving towards the what do you call the subscription format as well, right? Like, pay $20 and you're going to watch like two movies a month and those kind of things. They might want to reevaluate that. And talking about
Yeah.
the theater releases and the OTT platform or streaming platform, it also gives there's positive side of streaming platforms as well, right? Like, for some indie production, like, the production house or the movie distributors, they might not really believe in them, right? So it's as a second avenue so that they can at least present their work to, like, they can sell the rights to Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever, and at least they are getting that platform as well.
Yeah, and the thing about that though is like we always talked about doing indie kind of movies on this
Mm,
platform as a stepping stone
mm,
for going into bigger avenue, bigger movies or bigger stuff. Uh, Again, if there is no bigger stuff to go for, uh, I think that frees the filmmaker to make the kind of movie they want to make because you are not really trying to step on it and make something else. So
uh, uh, See, for me, it's not bigger movie as in like having more budget or, like, production houses backing. I don't think that's necessarily important. Again, filmmaking for me
that's not
is,
anymore. Not
yeah.
not
Mm,
anymore. But when all the streaming platform were first coming out,
mm,
that was the intention of a lot of filmmaker, a lot of artists. Is like, hey, I want to do movies on streaming platform, and they're gonna see my talent and blah blah blah, and that will help me in getting into a bigger budget movie, studios movie, and stuff like that. Again, that's what I'm saying. I think the movies that gives the filmmaker the independence to make the kind of movie they want to make because they are not actually aiming for something else.
mhm.
They are just making movie because they want to make the movie. That's
Yep,
how I feel about it.
exactly. So talking about this, it reminds me of the interesting case with Anurag Kashyap, right? Like, most of his movies are like indie movies, right? And then he got like this offer and he started making Bombay Velvet. And like in his interviews, he talks like, like he needs that scenario where there is constraint in budget. When he gets like free fall of money, then like he goes crazy
He
and
doesn't know
tries to
what to do.
justify it.
He
Yeah,
doesn't know what to do. Yeah,
exactly
well,
right.
I got all this money. What I want to do? Yeah, I think one thing you can do is just pay your crew more,
Mm-hmm,
right? Make the movie that you want to make. Just pay your crew more, pay your supporting actors more, pay your gaffer more, like all that kind of stuff. So there are ways to spend money, but again, that's what it is. Okay, I think we have been going it for 2 hours. Let's see what happens on Oscar. We might talk a little bit next week. Anything else before we leave?
yeah. So one thing I wanted to add was that in this year's Best Picture nomination, there are two movies, international movies in that
Mm-hmm,
category. One is Sentimental Value, and other is The Secret Agent. And
mm-hmm,
The Secret Agent kind of gives me the vibe of City of God. And although I
mm.
haven't watched The Secret Agent, but yeah, it's interesting to see like international movies being represented in Best Picture or nominated in Best
Yeah,
Picture.
they tend to do that. Like for the last few years, they have been
Hmm.
doing that with Parasite and all that kind of stuff because uh, there's commercial aspect to it because a lot of this Hollywood studios, Hollywood movie, Hollywood sporting leagues, uh, I think they have milked enough
Uh-huh.
out of US population.
Uh-huh.
So they are trying to expand market outside.
Uh-huh.
Look at Amazon.
Uh-huh.
Look at Netflix. How much money they are pouring on India.
Uh-huh.
How much movies all these companies are making in India. Because again, more the merrier.
Uh,
you know, more the merrier. More they can expand the number of people they might be able to watch those movies, merrier. So once you have international movies on these categories, which are good movies, I think that expands the brand of Oscars, right? There are a lot of skeptic about Oscars like me in US and within like US culture and stuff. So they're just trying to expand their market. It's a, as I said, it's a good thing for those movies to be nominated at Best Picture. It may not matter to one battle after another to be nominated an Oscar, but for those movies, it's gonna matter a
mhm,
lot to be nominated
exactly.
at Oscar, and it's a good thing. Anything else we want to add before we end?
Cool. I don't know about you, but I'm going to try to enjoy Oscars, not think about the lobbying
No,
part
I
of
enjoy Oscars.
it.
I like to watch Oscars. I like to watch the monologue. I
Mm,
like to
yeah.
watch all that. And one thing I love about Oscars compared to uh, Indian awards are
Uh,
there are no dramas.
mhm.
Straight to
Well,
the point.
well, there could be dramas. I hope no one slaps no one. I hope
Oh, that
they.
is different kind of drama, but there is no like it's not like 5 hour event with like 20 songs and like a subplot created within it.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, monologue, best nominee, best this,
Mhm.
best that, we are done. Let's go.
You know, one thing I hate about the way they edit the Indian award shows is that they add those sound bites and those clips, random clips for expressions. Man, that's so cheesy, man.
I have a I don't know if they still do it. I haven't watched Indian awards for a long time, but there was they pre-record it, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then uh there was one where I think it was Sridevi who was on stage giving an award. And it was Sridevi and audience clapping. It's
Mhm.
like,
Yep.
okay. So so you weren't gonna get that with Oscars. It's live, so it's
Mhm.
gonna be live.
Yep.
Anyway, we'll join you guys next time. We've been here for 2 hours. Thank you very much if you made all the way to 2 hours. And we'll see you guys next time.